Hello, everyone. My name is Julie McGuire, and I work with 1000 Friends of Iowa as the coordinator of the Best Development Awards program. And today I'm going to talk to you about making a successful nomination for our Best Development Awards program. So let me pull up my slideshow for you, and we will go through this. All right, so first it's going to help to understand a little bit about our organization before we talk about the program itself. So the Best Development Awards program is sponsored by Impact 7G this year. They've been a sponsor for years, and we really appreciate their support. They definitely do all of the work in the smart growth area that we support. So a little bit about 1000 Friends of Iowa. Let me move myself for you here. 1000 Friends of Iowa is an organization that was founded in 1998. It is the only organization that is focused on land use. We definitely try to get a lot of organization and advocacy at the local level. Now, the mission of our organization is to unite Iowans in an effort to protect farmland and natural areas, revitalize neighborhoods, towns, and cities, and improve the quality of life for future generations. The vision is of having a sustainable Iowa where appreciation, preservation, and celebration of the unique qualities of productive soils, dwindling natural areas, and culture of the heartland are at the center of all land use and economic decisions. So these two things, the mission and the vision, are important for you to think about as you're making your application to the program. Now, about the program itself, the Best Development Program was established in 2001 to recognize great work. It now has 12 categories that you can see here. We have new and we have renovated, and then we have things that are outside of new and renovated, including mixed use, which could be new or renovated. We have innovative leadership, renewable energy, stormwater management, urban placemaking, green space, and transportation, complete streets. Those are not broken out into renovated or new categories. We'll talk a little bit about categories later on about which ones are more competitive than others. But let's talk about the process. So we just got done with our awards ceremony. And so now we're kind of in a rest period. We will have our nomination period open. Usually it's around Labor Day. Sometimes it's as early as September 1st. It typically ends on November 15th. So the important thing to remember here is that if you are nominating a project, you want to have the project done. You can nominate it before the project's done if it will be finished by November 15th. So right now it's 2021. So on November 15th, 2021, let's say you had a project and it was finished like in November of 2019, we would probably accept that one. I would say something more than 2 years old, we would probably reject. But you can always call me just to make sure. Sometimes we have projects that are finished, but they're not quite at full capacity. And sometimes we have things come in and they're finished, not at full capacity, but they still get submitted anyway. Yeah, it kind of depends on your preparation time and your comfort level. So anyway, we open up our nominations from September through the middle of November. The nomination period closes. I prepare all of your materials and send everything out to the jurors. All of the nominations are reviewed by the jurors, and each project gets a preliminary score. Once that scoring period ends, I bring all of the jurors together and they discuss each project and make selections. Then the winners are announced. I will let each nominee and nominator know the result of the selection process and then make a media release. Usually that's done by December 1st. So between December 1st and our awards presentation in mid to late January, we have a lot of other things going on, but the main thing to remember is that we will make a presentation. You'll get a plaque if you won your category, and we like to do it at the Capitol. This is the picture from 2017. We had some lovely plaques, and you can see the picture on the left there. We also make big posters so that everyone going through, because the Capitol is a public space, everyone can read about your project. The other nominations, as well as legislators need more information. And like I said, other people passing through can take a look and see all the great work that you did. We also have this happen over the lunch hour, and we have a professional photographer. And the really important thing here, we wait until legislative session opens in later January. We get photos with the legislators. I cannot express how important it is that we get you connected with your legislator if we can. Now, in addition to the awards, you know, it's a long path to get there. Like I said, we open up in September, and of course you did all of your work, you know, maybe the year and a half, 2 years, 3 years before that. So let's talk about how we document those things and make a good nomination. So nominations are submitted digitally. They have very strict word counts, and every nomination has 2 sets of criteria. One just for that category, and there's some examples listed here. And we also have criteria that support the mission and vision of the organization. So those are overall criteria, and every nomination needs to meet those. So I'm going to say best practice would be to start early and ask for input. You can always call me. I'm going to have my phone number and email address at the end of this presentation to help you. I know it's not easy because everyone's doing plenty of other things. We're all busy. So that's why I'm going to say start early. That's why I'm making this video now. It's not even close to September. It's the earliest in February. So again, start early, start thinking about it now. So my first tip for you would be to use a word processor before you apply. So here is a screenshot from the innovative leadership category. You can see we just have these small fields here. I'm going to say, if you're going to write a story about how you got to, you know, the beginning and end of your project, you're going to have a certain word count that you need to adhere to. This interface that you see in the screenshot, it does not count words for you. It just cuts you off. So again, you're going to want to use a word processor before you submit your nomination. Now, once you submit, and you can self-nominate too. The nominee and the nominator can be the same person. No problem with that. So anyway, you submit, and then, like I said, I kind of sort everything out and make it look nice for the jurors. Our jurors then evaluate each nomination. We don't split them up. All the jurors see all the nominations. These jurors are volunteers from the academic, government, and private sector. They all have very, very different viewpoints. We currently have 5 seats, of which 4 are open. We will announce our next juror as soon as we get them placed. If you can't remember the mission and vision, or you don't have access to our website, it's down or whatever, just keep those words right there. Smart growth, just keep that in mind. As long as you're writing from the perspective of smart growth, you'll be fine. So again, we've got 2 sets of criteria. One is specific to that category. The other set of criteria is required of all the nominations. If you can think about what a juror might be looking for, what's going to be easy for a juror who's going through a lot. I mean, we have, you know, say we have 8 categories. We don't have all the categories, you know, get nominations. Let's say we get 3. That's 24 nominations for one person to go through. So the criteria, you know, if you think about a juror trying to read through everything and be thorough and do a good job, think about how it can sometimes be difficult to tell what criteria you're hitting if you're trying to work on a nice flowy story. So I'm going to say we don't allow bullet points. It's all one big paragraph when it comes through. So readability and flow can definitely help, but it is not one of the criterion. It is helpful to make lists with commas. If you have questions, again, certainly call me. You really want to think about the unique qualities that make your project stand out from all of the other projects. Again, let's say we get only 7 categories with nominations. We're pretty much going to get more than 2 or 3 nominations per category. So how are you going to make yourself different? There might one year we had 7 nominations in one category. How are you going to stand out from that? So again, think about what makes you unique and special. Some other tips would be to include photographs if you can. Photographs are submitted via email. They're separate from that nomination form. Your photos really need to have descriptive file names so that we can understand what order they go in and what we're looking at. So examples here would be, and I just made this up, Madison Wetland, May 2019, or Madison Wetland, October 2019. We need to be able to understand where in the process that photo was taken. And then I'm going to show you a video here. We've seen some kind of like their commercials. We don't really want to see commercials. We do like videos that help us understand the project. And so for this one that I'm going to show you, this is a video of floodwater that was sheeting over a bike path. And it helps us understand the problem in a measurable way. So let me play that for you here. So this is from a winter we just celebrated this winter. This is the city of Clive, and they're going to show us floodwaters coming over a non-functioning dry basin. We have water. You can see how deep it is. You can see how wide the path is. And then if you look in the background, you can see how this is impacting the neighbors. All right. So very short video, you're not professional, but it completely helps us understand what the project fixed. Okay, so let's go to the next tip here. So this is, I'm going to move my headshot up here. Okay, so here you can see the Bricker Price block, and the Bricker Price block won the renovated civic category back in 2018. And what's nice for the jurors is seeing these before, during, and after from the exact same spot. It gives us a good reference to understand. There's not really a lot of dilapidation. We don't have a picture of that here, but I just wanted to give an illustration of a good example. So this one, I give this a thumbs up. This is a smiley face from me. Now there's sometimes people who just don't think about photographs and they're an afterthought, or you have multiple people taking photographs. I totally understand how that goes. This is an example. I kind of hesitated to give you a bad example, but I feel like you got to see bad so you can understand what good looks like. This is the winner from the stormwater management up in Denison. This is the before picture on the left, after on the right. I can't really tell that this is the same exact piece of property. It is, but it's hard to tell. So you can see we've got, on the left-hand side, we have these 2 garage doors. I just see a big alley. I can't really tell that it's a parking lot. And then if we come over here, this right-hand picture, this after, okay, so here's a railway. I don't see where those 2 garage doors are. I don't really see an alley. This actually does look like a parking lot to me. So if it's helpful, because you missed the before or the during stages of your project, I would consider going to your county assessor or maybe to your historical society to see if you could get some help there. So again, I kind of give a sad face for that one. Jurors also really like to see community engagement, and I know it's hard to get photographs of community engagement. So if you can't get photographs like Jewel has here, Jewel won Innovative Leadership for a Small Community in 2020. And this picture on the bottom here, that's Innovative Leadership. They were a standout winner from 2019. If you didn't have a big meeting, especially during COVID, what you could do instead, you could say, we had this many groups, we had this many individuals. We put the word out in these 5 different ways that there was a meeting or a discussion, things that are measurable. to show that there was some sort of effort made and there's some kind of engagement made after the effort, that would be helpful. Because again, I know it's hard to get photos of groups of people. Okay, what else do jurors like? In addition to community engagement, jurors like seeing recycled materials if it's a building project. If it's a new project, you might not have recycled materials, and clearly it's only for these built structures. So on the left here, we have the High Point Center from Clarence, Iowa. They had some steel roofing that you can see that stayed in place, but then the siding, that's kind of the rusty that you see there on the siding, that's just stuff that blew in from a derecho. They found the material and they decided, hey, we're going to use it. The judges loved that. On the right-hand side here, you see Textile Brewing made some tables with some old crates that they found in their building. And Textile Brewing had a very nice nomination, and they won in 2019 in the renovated commercial category. So there we have the 2019 and 2020 winners. So that one we like. Jurors also really appreciate seeing multiple criteria. So this is the city of Clive again. This is a photo that goes along with the video that we saw. So again, in addition to the video, this picture here shows that there was some kind of balance given. And again, this is, you know, that mission and vision of 1,000 Friends of Iowa. We're balancing those natural areas. Again, it's a built natural area, as well as residential, and then we've got a roadway. You can't really see the roadway, but we can see the bike path. So again, we're trying to blend those different land uses together. It also really stresses the interdependence of those different environments. And then with the bikes being really close to the trail and the housing, this is something that would support an active lifestyle. It's a high quality of life issue. And then this nomination included outreach at a conference. There was a presentation made to other stormwater professionals. There was signage that was also going to go up. And then there was collaboration with another agency. I believe it was a university. And again, the jurors really like to see things that you can measure. So this other agency was going to monitor the project's impact on the watershed. So again, things that we can measure. So this gets a definite thumbs up or a smiley face with jurors. So again, we're going to list best practices in the nominations. There's a space, and again, I know we're restricted by word counts. List the agencies that you worked with to get the project finished. If you are not sure about which category you should enter, give me a phone call. Again, my contact info will be at the end of this presentation. There are some categories where it's harder to get a win. And those are the three I listed here: innovative leadership, renewable energy, and stormwater management, simply because there's so many ways to solve the problems introduced into innovative leadership and stormwater management. Renewable energy, there hasn't been a lot of new things in renewable energy, so we need to see something for the jurors that just knocks that out of the park and is wildly different from what's out there now. The other thing we want to look at is categories that don't get a lot of nominations, and that would be transportation and all of the new categories. So new commercial, new civic, those ones. We would welcome those. Excuse me. Lastly, I'm going to say it's helpful if you list your funding streams, especially the public funding streams. This helps meet that set of criteria that we have that talks about a responsible use of taxpayer money. It's very helpful to use when you're meeting with legislators. And when you go, you can see this photo here. Typically, whoever your lawmakers are, they like to stand next to you and get a photo for their newsletter that they send out every week that their house is in session, or their chamber, I guess, not their house. So that's something that's very important for them. And it's an opportunity for you to say how important the state historic preservation credit was, or whatever, the community block development grant, whatever that public fund was, that award that came in, if you can say how much it impacted your project and your community and how it created a ripple effect, it makes it easier for future people to come in and also use those funds. And then the last thing is to remember to pay the fee. It's separate from the nomination. It's a separate link. It takes you off site. I don't know another way around that. So sometimes it seems like it's just easy to forget and skip it because you don't see it. But it is important that you pay that fee that supports our program. I'm going to wish you the very best of luck. My contact info is here. Again, I'm Julia with the Best Development Awards. I coordinate the program for 1000 Friends of Iowa, and my email address is awards@1000friendsofiowa.org, and that's the digits for 1000. So again, I look forward to seeing some excellent nominations as we go into 2021.